Story RH, the podcast that makes a long story short.
Welcome to all.
History is made of stories.
In this episode, we'll be looking into what is included in total compensation.
Whenever people start talking compensation, they have two reflexes: first, to immediately wonder how much, and next to only think about the salary.
If I offer you a job with a salary of 30 euros K, with 0 benefits, and another at 29 euros K, with a 10 euros lunch voucher per workday, 90% of which is paid for by your employer, which do you choose?
The one that seems most interesting, with a good manager, a worthwhile project and values. But if we're only talking compensation, the answer isn't as clear because we need to compare benefits beyond the salary alone.
That's right, you have to look at the package as a whole. But what is total compensation? What's the story?
In this example, it's easy to see that the lunch vouchers at the second job with the lower salary have a concrete value for me. It's money I won't have to spend.
Without lunch vouchers, you would have spent the money from your salary after paying social charges and taxes. So it's worthwhile to compare the offers.
That's total compensation, taking into consideration everything that has value for the employee and a cost for the company.
And to keep from comparing oranges and apples, you calculate the total and gross salary equivalent.
How much gross salary would I need to pay for this benefit at its market value? Calculating this way makes it possible to compare just about anything.
Benefits that go into a total compensation package are legion. On top of that, they don't all have the same characteristics and don't meet the same needs for different people.
We generally organize the components depending on their innate characteristics, like with Donadieu's compensation pyramid, which dates back to the 1990s.
But you can also organize them according to the need they meet for employees. To simplify, there are 3 main needs.
1. Immediate consumption. 2. Future consumption, so savings. 3. Consumption even in hard times, so protection.
3 types of needs into which we can organize all benefits to include in total compensation. Let's start with immediate consumption.
Here there are 2 subcategories: cash compensation, which is paid into your bank account, and benefits, which keep you from spending this cash. If we continue with subcategories, there are the things that we are sure of at the beginning of the month and the unknowns.
For cash compensation, there's the set salary, which we know we have at the beginning of the month, and then there's variable compensation, which is unknown, such as bonuses.
It's the same for benefits: set advantages like a company car and potential advantages, which depend on whether or not the beneficiary uses them, like a discounted rate on a mortgage.
Then there's savings, the money we'll use to buy things in the future. Here too there are 2 major types. First, monetary savings, like profit sharing.
But there is also employee ownership, whether direct, the employee owns a share or shares, or indirect, like with stock options.
Last but not least, the final category is protection. We protect ourselves from various risks which might impact our purchasing power in the future, some of which are certain, like retirement,
while others are possibilities, like a workplace accident or long-term illness.
There's also healthcare coverage, including doctor's visits, dental care, eyeglasses, and hospitalization.
And each of these total compensation categories comes with its own subtleties and, at some companies, strange traditions or habits.
To recap, total compensation covers all of the types of compensation which cost the company money and have value for the employee. They can be broken down into 3 categories: 1. Immediate consumption, 2. Savings, and 3. Protection. Is that right?
Exactly right. Way to make a long story short.
Story RH, the podcast that makes a long story short.